Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming out. I know it's called the Innovation Theater, but it feels like a bit of a silent disco to me. And I'll tell you, it's very odd to be talking to a room when I don't feel like you can hear me, but you actually can. It's great to be here. And again, thanks for choosing to spend your time at Deliver today on this topic. And indeed, we're going to be talking about how online shoppers aren't just looking for fast and reliable ways to get what they need, but they're demanding it. And, you know, they're demanding it, which means you need to deliver it. You need to deliver it to stay competitive. And Uber's here to help. And I think this is an area that a lot of people, you know, are a bit surprised to hear that this is a space that Uber is moving into, but I am very excited to share it with you. Before I get started, I just want to kind of get a sense for who's in the room. So, quick show of hands. Who works for a retailer? Okay, who works for, you know, a delivery management system of sorts? Okay, other service providers to retail? All right. What about from kind of a geography point of view? Who's from the Netherlands, based in the Netherlands? The UK? In Europe, like the rest of Europe doesn't matter, but I feel like I got 50% of the hands already. Okay, thank you. And last but not least, just in terms of roles, give me a sense. How many of you are, you know, e-commerce logistics type directors? Okay. All right. Well, good. Well, we have a good mix of people. I should also ask, how many people are here to hear about Uber's perspective on same-day delivery? And how many people are here to hear about Uber Direct and what this thing is? All right. We have a good mix. Okay, good. Feels like I got a little bit of everything. And look, really excited to talk to you. So I want to start by quickly just introducing myself. So I'm the general manager of Uber's delivery business in the UK, Ireland, and Northern Europe. And I've been at Uber for about 8 years. Spent about 7 years helping to build Uber's mobility business, helping people get anywhere across Europe. And in the last 18 months have been working on not just Uber Eats in terms of restaurant food delivery, but also grocery, and now what we call Uber Direct. So I've seen this journey play out, and the journey really is this. 10 years ago, you wouldn't have expected that you could push a button and get a ride within minutes. 5 years ago, you probably wouldn't have expected that, you know, at the push of a button, you could get your favorite restaurant food delivered to your home. And this same shift is very quickly upon us in grocery, and it's coming very quickly when it comes to everyday essentials. And look, historically, this was just not something that retailers considered essential at all. But customers are coming to expect it. And I'm not sure whether it's the technology is ready or the consumer trends have shifted. It's obviously a little bit of both. But look, groceries, they used to be scheduled at days in advance. You can now get them within minutes. And our point of view is that this is very quickly coming to retail. And in particular, fashion, beauty, DIY, electronics are three of the areas that we're seeing the shift. And retailers need to keep up. Retailers need to be meeting this consumer trend if they're going to stay competitive. And I'll tell you, we're here to help. And again, today I'm going to talk to you a bit about our perspective on same-day delivery. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Uber Direct, but I'm not here to sell you Uber Direct. I think I'm here to kind of, you know, inspire you to think about the need, whether you're a retailer to offer this, or whether you're part of a delivery management system, to kind of partner across the ecosystem to make sure you're fully meeting this need. And the thing I often say is that same-day delivery, same day is the new next day. And the reason is it creates value for consumers. It also creates value for merchants. So 2 stats that we often reference. The first one there, 46% of people have actually abandoned an online shopping cart because the shipping times were too long, or worse yet, they were just opaque. They weren't provided. And what that's driving is incremental sales. 72% of online shoppers say they would shop more online from their favorite retailer if they offered same-day delivery. And, you know, we're excited to partner to help retailers do this. And what UberDirect is it's a last mile white label delivery solution that allows any form of retailer to add into their own website or their own app a same-day delivery option. It's using the same technology that underlies Uber Eats. It's using the same courier network that powers Uber Eats. And, frankly, the expertise of a business that spent 10 years building the world's largest marketplace outside of China. And this is what it looks like. And I thought maybe we'd show it to you kind of in partnership with what is arguably kind of one of the most well-known retailers, being Apple. So if you go to the Apple website in the US, that's what you can see. Do you want to pick it up from store, or do you want it to be delivered? If so, choose your time slot today. And, as you'd expect, we'll show you the real-time tracking. And this isn't just something, it's not just a concept, it's not just a pilot we're doing with Apple. We're working with some of the largest retailers in the world. So as you see there, Walmart, Adidas, Sephora, many others. This is something that we are kind of increasingly deep in partnership and figuring out, how to innovate it and how to grow it to ultimately meet the needs of that consumer. So let me talk to you a little bit more about this product through the lens of what it does for consumers. And again, I really don't want to sell you Uber Eats. Think of this as what technology can do to meet changing consumer needs. So these are kind of the four things we tend to hear from consumers in terms of why they want this, and when they experience it, why they love it. So number one, it gives the customer the flexibility that they want, which is not only get it delivered ASAP or schedule your specific time slot, which obviously is kind of highly important to the flexibility, but it also helps to reduce that really annoying failed delivery where it doesn't actually show up. Number two, secondly, real-time tracking. So just the same way you come to expect to see, your Uber car or your Uber Eats delivery in the app real-time, where is it? The exact same technology, the exact same customer experience in terms of, your product coming to you. Importantly, we are kind of continuing to push the bounds on proof of delivery. If you look at consumer research, about a third of consumers have experienced some version of porch piracy, their product disappearing. We can do PIN code, where the consumer needs to type in a PIN code. You may see that with your Uber Eats delivery. We can do photo verification. We can scan a barcode, kind of an increasing number of different proof of delivery options. And last but not least, this isn't just about the first leg of the delivery. We can also enable the returns. So we're kind of partnering with a number of delivery management players to help make this happen. Which obviously is kind of highly important to the consumer in terms of getting that product back quickly, but for a retailer, also gets the inventory back in stock, back in store. And if we kind of flip this over and talk about it through the lens of a retailer, the thing that they love, the thing we hear is this seamlessly fits into their existing delivery options. And we could integrate directly with the retailer. We're also integrated with a number of delivery management systems, which will then allow the retailer to access the service. But if you think of it through the lens of a retailer, not only will they have their standard delivery options, 3 to 4 day through a postal service, next day through perhaps another provider, but let's also do it same day. And we do this not only seamlessly, but flexibly. So you could decide to brand it UberDirect as this shows, or you could really white label this and make it look and feel like your own delivery. And that the way we see retailers doing this is kind of through I think what is the standard approach in terms of same day or scheduled delivery from your store, from the storefront. We see retailers doing it in terms of, it working in their existing flow in terms of shipping from a warehouse to their store, and then this for perhaps being kind of a backup where their existing delivery provider doesn't work for some reason. We'll actually give you an interface where you can go in and just kind of on demand request a delivery for your customer. And we're seeing it also sometimes as an add-on to click and collect, where a customer actually chooses to click and collect. They get the ping that the item is in the store and they decide, I don't really want to go to pick it up. Let's give them another option, which is have a courier go pick it up from the store and bring it to them. For a lot of people, I think it's probably the first time you're hearing about UberDirect. We've really only been on this journey for the last couple of years, but I'll tell you, this will probably not be the last. When Uber decides to go into space, we go into a space and we intend to grow and grow rapidly. And this is a very big focus for us, a very big growth area for Uber. Again, we're very focused on being the fastest, the most reliable, the most flexible, and the most affordable for retailers. And that's not just because of the technology, which is kind of what I talked to you about so far in terms of all the different product features that we're building working with retailers. But just as well, it's because of the coverage we have in the countries that we serve. So take the UK, for instance. 90% of the people in the UK can access Uber Eats today. Outside of London, our delivery times are under 30 minutes. So you think about that scale, 90,000 couriers on the road in the UK, and you apply it to e-commerce and delivering products. And we have kind of coverage and ability to be the fastest, be the most reliable, be the most flexible, and probably as a result, be the cheapest that no one else so far we've found can match. And just to give you a sense, if we zoom out of the UK for a sec, this is available in 18 countries around the world at the moment, more to come. In Europe, we're in the UK, France, Spain, Portugal, more to come. And we're seeing good growth. So our objective this year is to drive 150% growth year on year from last year. And Q1's off to a good start. We doubled the number of storefronts on the platform in Q1. We're up to about 80,000 globally, and much more to come. In Europe at the moment, for those interested, we're certainly deep into restaurants, working with the likes of McDonald's. We're deep into grocery, working with the likes of Tesco, Asda, Sainsbury's. And we really now are just getting serious about getting on the journey with retailers, which is one of the reasons we're here and one of the reasons we want to be part of the conversation. So I'm excited to take your questions. Please do ask me the basic questions that aren't as clear as they should be. Challenge me in terms of the things you don't think are going to work for you. But the thing I want you to take away here is the game is changing with respect to consumer needs. Retailers have to evolve and have to keep up, or they're going to be outcompeted. And two, we know this is not easy to do, but we're here to partner. We want to work with you and build our tech around you to make this work and to make us, together service the needs of a rapidly changing consumer base. So love to answer your questions and keep the conversation going.
We are going to open the floor to questions. I do need to give you the mic because we are using the headsets. Would you like to go first? I saw your hand go up. There you are.
Hi, my name is Andres Lozano. I'm from Telefónica.
It's not coming through the headsets.
Hello?
Can you hear it? Okay, hold on. Maybe it's just me.
Do you want another step?
I tell you, this silent disco concept is definitely new for me. All right.
Hi. No?
I still can't hear you.
Hi.
There we go. Thank you.
My name is Andres Lozano. I'm from Telefónica procurement team. Telefónica is O2 and Movistar and other brands. We have a service with you in same day delivery in Brazil. The experience is really, really good.
Good.
But we would like to expand this. So my question is, what is your plan of expansion in this? For example, Germany. In Germany, you don't have operation in Uber, and in Spain, I really think there is nothing regarding same day delivery because we try to reach you about to try to bring us a supplier for us, but it was not we had any success. So it's I would like to know about the
Absolutely. Well, firstly, thank you for the question. Thrilled to hear you've had a good experience in Brazil. And I mean, one of the things I want you to take away is we are going to build this business and we're going to build it quickly. So at the moment, it may not be what you want it to be in the specific market you want it to be in, but we want to hear from you because, if we think about a business of the scale of Telefónica, you tell us where you need us to be. In about 70 countries in the world, we have Uber. About 45 countries in the world, we have Uber Eats. Uber Eats is in Germany and scaling quickly. And it is in Spain at scale. we don't necessarily have Uber Direct in all these areas. We do have Uber Direct same day delivery in Spain, not yet in Germany, but it's going to be everywhere. And we're going to kind of inform that roadmap based on, the biggest retailers in the world and how they want to work with us. So we should definitely chat. Our head of Uber Direct for Spain is right here. So you should definitely chat with her. And we actually have our head of Uber Direct for Germany here as well. So definitely have the conversation and let's talk about where we go.
Hello, good afternoon. So my name is Fabien Nunez and I'm working for IKEA in the development and innovation field for Last Mile. I have a question related to the typology of orders or products you can carry through your service, because I guess that you have some constraints. So as you know from IKEA, we are offering a broad range of articles, small and bulky. So how you can basically match this broad range of article?
It is a great question. One that I didn't cover, but let me talk about that. I also want to talk about sustainability, because I think this is the other question we're hearing a lot from retailers in terms of, great, but can you do it green? So firstly, in most of our markets today, remember, we're using the Uber Eats courier network. And depending on the market, Uber Eats couriers will either be in cars, 4 wheels. We have a lot of Uber Eats couriers on 2 wheels, motorbikes or bicycles. And the way we built the tech is, it basically allows you to tell us what the specific dimensions are of the product, what the specific weight of the product is, and we'll dispatch the right vehicle. But there's obviously going to be a limitation. We at the moment don't have plans to, for instance, have 2 people in a car to deliver a bulkier item. And of course, there's still some items that, maybe it needs 1 person, but it's going to be large and it's not going to fit in a car. You need a van. So here it is. There's definitely going to be a limitation. This is not going to work for every retailer, for every use case, but we're designing it with the consumer in need and the types of products that consumers want delivered same day. Our research so far is telling us that if I think about IKEA, some of the bigger items are not necessarily kind of the key use case for same day delivery. A lot of retailers, whether it's IKEA or whether it's kind of a big box store in the UK, they have a kind of a subset of their SKUs that consumers do want same day that will fit in the products. And keep in mind, this may not also be your only fulfillment option. We may be one of multiple fulfillment options you use for different products. So kind of similar response to here is we definitely want to chat to hear kind of more specifically what you think your consumers need same day and can we build it? But of course, I'll set expectations that there's going to be some products for which, this courier network is probably not a fit.
We've got 4 other questions for you, and then we'll come back to the gentleman in the blue shirt, and then the lady. Lots of questions. Very interesting subject.
Good chat after.
Here we are.
Hi, I'm Nihar from Nike, and I'm working in the capability building space for the last mile part. A question I have, maybe my understanding is that you will use the same riders or couriers that you have for Uber Eats, for Uber Direct as well. If there is a constraint there, how would you prioritize Uber Direct business versus the Uber Eats business?
It's a great question. One clarification I want to make, that I'm going to answer that directly. So the clarification I want to make is, and just for everyone's knowledge, we have an API, and it's intentionally designed to be flexible and to be simple. That's the API that you as a retailer or you as a delivery management system plug into. And another thing we hear from retailers is one of the things we can do that I guess it makes sense, but we didn't really think about it, is, effectively run a 24/7 delivery network. And it's kind of, that's just our ethos. Like, we built a business getting you where you want to go 24/7. And it's one thing we consistently hear from retailers is actually quite an interesting kind of point of difference. But part of that is also we're very good at building marketplaces where the supply meets the demand to minimize needing to make that trade-off. So look, not to say when we get this business to scale, we're not going to have kind of specific geos at specific times where there's a need to make the trade-off, but I'll tell you, we're a long way away from that at the moment. And we are very good as a business at kind of predicting where the demand is going to be, working with you as a retailer and making sure that, we put the right incentives in place to get couriers into that area to be able to fulfill your need and not have to make the trade-off.
Okay, thank you.
Do you mind passing the mic to the lady just next to you? Thank you.
Hi, I'm from an online footwear company in Leicester, so we're obviously based in the UK, right in the centre. Do you have any parameters or limitations when it comes to how far you can go with same-day delivery? We don't have warehouses anywhere else in the world or even in the UK. So obviously that's, for us, same day is how far can you get in the same day?
And your stock is in consumer-facing retail locations today, or in a warehouse?
Just in warehouse, so we're an online-only footwear company.
So I think the direct answer is, the way to think about it is, we can go where couriers go. And the good thing about delivering products like what we're talking about and not perishable hot food is we can also send them longer than, for instance, what we could send your evening meal. But there's going to be limitations. So you're going to find couriers today 90% of the UK can access the app. There's couriers covering about 70% of the UK. This differs by country. But I mean, if what we're talking about is, a long haul journey on a highway, that's not going to happen. But kind of going to the periphery, going to the suburbs, depending on the city we're talking about, it's possible. And it's much easier for us to figure out how to do this with this than hot food. So again, I'd say let's chat and let's kind of get specific about the needs. And one of the things I want you to take away is we also want to build this around partners like you that say, hey, we have a customer need that, the existing set of options doesn't help us fulfill. Can Uber evolve to do this?
Lovely.
If you don't mind passing the mic to the lady in front of you, we'll come to you, Tony.
Hi, I'm from Danish e-commerce. The sustainability view, you didn't mention anything. Every time I talk to a new courier, they cannot stop themselves from talking about sustainability, but you don't even mention it.
Well, I'm glad you asked, because I wanted to pick that up on the back of your question, but there's 4 other questions, so I couldn't get to it. So on sustainability, I mean, the first thing to say is this is a topic that Uber cares a lot about. The Uber Rides business has been on the sustainability journey for a number of years with a commitment to be fully zero emissions by 2040 in every city in the world, 2030 in some of the largest markets, and the Rides business is well on the journey. Uber Eats, the network of couriers we're talking about here, we start with a bit of an advantage because a lot of our couriers are already on push bikes. A lot of our couriers are already on, electric scooters, which tend to be cheaper. But we're really just getting started on this journey. And I will tell you, we have an event tomorrow in London called Go Get Zero, where we're actually going to make some pretty big commitments on this. And not just the commitment, but the action as to how we're going to get there. So I think the way to think about it is, depending on your needs and your customer expectations, we could probably today fulfill a subset of your orders in, fully electric vehicles or electric scooters. But this is going to rapidly change over the years ahead. And we fully intend to get there. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name's Tony Shirota, and I'm director of the Reverse Logistics Association. So I'm the dark side. You're talking forward. And people, like all of us who shop online, want to return stuff in record numbers. And when do you see a plan for Uber Direct to also do the reverse side, which could really be a leapfrog in sustainability and customer satisfaction?
So I love the question, because the one thing that we are discovering on this journey is, the simplest use case that this product was built for is actually not the use case that a lot of retailers have. And we're hearing kind of, look, as a retailer, my inventory management system is not integrated. I can't tell you what SKUs I have in my high street location for you to pick up from. And we're hearing a lot of this, which is, great that you can do the first leg, but, I actually want you to do the reverse. So, it feels like there's a theme to my answer here in terms of we're on this. We're talking to a number of delivery management systems that focus on that leg. And have the tech that will plug into a retailer today to enable the return, and we'll plug in to that to actually fulfill the return. So I don't have kind of specifics to announce yet, but definitely something that we intend to have, conscious of, as you say, the demand for it from retailers and from consumers. Would love to chat more though after, because I think you probably have a good point of view on who exactly we should be working with to do it.
Gentleman from IKEA has another question.
Yeah, I will follow up a bit on my previous question, because I understand your point when you say, for a more bulky order like your kitchen, for example, or whatsoever, of course, same-day delivery is not that important. But we have still a lot of different typology of orders, which are not small, they are not parcel eligible, so quite be a bit bulky. You don't need 2 drivers, so 1 driver will fit. But my question is, how from a system perspective, you are identifying, the different products who can be part of an order, and it will fit, if it will fit in the car, in the vehicles as such.
So this answer might not be specific enough for you, in which case we could take it afterwards. But you tell us the dimensions and the weight of every SKU that you intend to allow a consumer to order, and our tech will ensure that if that SKU is in the basket, that we dispatch the right type of vehicle, or in some cases we dispatch more than one vehicle. So I mean, if there's multiple items there, one of them, as you say, can be done with one person, but it's going to take up the entirety of the vehicle. Then our system is built to be able to say, okay, we need to send a car to pick up that item, and to the extent you have a long tail of other items, let's send a bike to do that. And this is tech that we are kind of quickly building and iterating over time. But so long as it requires one person, and so long as we don't need to kind of dispatch an oversized van, we intend to be able to fulfill that. But let's chat afterwards, because would love to partner with IKEA. But I'm conscious that you and other retailers, with the type of inventory that you have, presents a different challenge than the high street DIY store where we're delivering kind of tools and home outfit products.
Lady in the dress here.
Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm from a company called Boulevard. We're a marketplace seller. We sell across 20 marketplaces. We sell over 1 million products. There's 2 things. One of them, are you looking to integrate with marketplaces like Amazon, probably our biggest one? And secondly, do you have an Uber retail app? Because we don't have our own online sort of website that we can attach to. And we also sell across 17 product categories, including DIY, pets, beauty, all the categories you've mentioned that are in need of same-day delivery.
Great questions. The first one I think is on the theme of we want to help consumers get anything. If you fast forward this story 5-10 years, I want to be able to go back to that first slide and show a very different timeline of kind of the things that we are delivering on demand, which means without getting into specifics of Amazon or the next one, we're in lots of conversations in terms of how to partner and use what's a pretty unique asset and capability we have in terms of a very dense liquid network of couriers to plug into lots of systems to do last mile delivery cheaply, affordably. So watch the space. On the second one, the retail app we have today is effectively the Uber Eats marketplace, where there's millions of consumers in there on a weekly basis. And there are products beyond just food and grocery. But I'll tell you, it's not necessarily the first place you're going to go, if you want to order, let's say, makeup. So that is the marketplace business that we're running. We've definitely heard demand for kind of something like a white label app that you could configure yourself and drive demand to. But the focus today is very much working with the brands that already have their own kind of website or app and customers that want a same-day fulfillment option. But I'm open to the feedback, so definitely let's chat. The good news is the Uber Direct booth is right behind you, and we have the kind of leaders from each of the main European countries. So definitely the group to share ideas with and chat to.
Thank you, everyone, for your questions so far. Do we have any more? Yes? There we are.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
My name's Tom from New Business Models team at Unilever. So Unilever's home care, personal care, ice cream. You put there 30 minutes average delivery time, I think, on one of the following slides. But when the consumer places the order, what kind of commitment are you making to the consumer? Are you telling the consumer at that moment in time how long you expect it's going to take to get to them?
So the thing to take away here is we've built this to be flexible and to meet your needs. And in some sense, the challenge is going to be less us getting a courier to the Apple Store to pick up the iPhone to get it to the consumer. It's going to be how your kind of in-store pick and pack process works. And depending on the selection assortment you have and where exactly it's located, how quickly can your team take the order on your system, get the item ready, get it bagged, and get it ready for a courier. So there's a version of this, and maybe the best example would be McDonald's, where you can literally picture yourself going into the McDelivery app, ordering a Big Mac, it taking the team 5 minutes to prepare it and the courier being there at that point to pick it up. That'll be 30 minutes. You can picture, the Sephora, the Walmart experience is probably a better one, where that's going to take longer than 30 minutes in all likelihood, because the Walmart team needs to go and actually use from the shelves. And yes, you might be ordering one thing, but those are big stores. So think of it as the bottleneck tends to be on the retailer side. This is being designed in a way, though, to be flexible in terms of you can show, a slot like this. You can show kind of a set of scheduled options that perhaps are this afternoon or tomorrow, or you can go ASAP, which is send me the courier as quickly as possible.
Any more questions? Oh, one more. All right. Thank you.
Hi. It's weird to listen to my voice. I'm Kevin. I'm from Unilever New Business Model team. Because today we're talking about ship from store. What's your view on consumer ship a product to another consumer, like C2C? Yeah.
You guys have some great questions. Part of the reason I love doing these talks is because you keep putting good ideas in my head. So we have a product called Uber Connect already, which runs through the Uber Rides app. It's not in every country of the world, but for instance, and it's not in the UK, but for instance in Canada, which is the business I ran most recently. There is exactly that, which is you request an Uber driver, you tell the Uber driver where the other side of the leg is, and the app's configured so the driver shows up, pops the trunk, you put the item in, they deliver it, we insure it, and they deliver it on the other end, and kind of it's seamless communication between you and whoever you're shipping it to. So for a retailer, that can also work. To the best of my knowledge, there's not an API, so it's not the type of thing that you can easily do at scale, but we have a kind of an interface, almost like a tablet, that if your kind of volume is sufficiently low, for instance, Florist will do this, where Florist gets an order through the phone, they type in the parameters, the Uber comes to pick it up and drops it off, as an example. But I mean, when I think about businesses like Unilever, fast-moving consumer goods, I mean, we should definitely chat, because there's lots of different ways between Uber and Uber Eats that you can kind of bring it together. And the great thing about being in 70 countries worldwide is we're very quickly aggregating where the customer needs are, and we have a very strong, large tech team that can build this stuff.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sophie. I'm a journalist for Mind Retail Publication. I have a question regarding your drivers and Uber Direct. I think in some countries you have the possibility to have the drivers making the pickup in store, similarly to Instacart. Is it still the case? And do you want to extend this option, particularly for grocery stores and FMCG product? Is it a demand from your client and for food retailers?
So we only succeed when our partners succeed, and it's definitely something we're hearing from partners in terms of, look, we like it, but we don't have the capability to do the picking in store, and this is particularly true of those that have large assortments. So what you describe, we do in the US. We have launched it in Australia, and we're definitely looking at whether it's something that we want to bring to Europe, because it definitely solves a need for a lot of retailers. So watch this space, more to come.
We have time for more questions. I'm just going to leave it with you.
Time. Do you have some insight from a customer satisfaction perspective? How they are rating your services, or also what are the biggest pain points that you are facing till now?
And when you say customers, you're talking about the retail partners or the end consumer?
The end customers.
So I mean, I don't have data to hand in terms of how end consumers, at scale are experiencing Uber Direct. For instance, when I talk about Uber Eats, we have a lot of data on that because we have millions of consumers using it in many countries around the world. Uber Direct, I mean, the place I go to is what McDonald's surveys and hears from McDelivery consumers, for instance. They're the ones at the moment that are doing a lot of the research into how Uber Direct stacks up against, in some cases, a set of other fulfillment options that they have. And I don't have stats at hand, but what we're going to hear there is similar feedback from Uber Eats, which this is certainly simpler in some sense to do because it's not a hot item that we need to get to in 30 minutes at the dinner table. Or it tends not to be something, for instance, where, it's not going to be properly packed and an item's going to be missing because there tends to be kind of less customization to it. In which case, a lot of the things that people experience with Uber Eats that can be complicated and can be painful tend not to happen here, which is certainly a good thing. One of the things I'll tell you that we're working hard on here, though, that I think is a pain point, is the support side. So we have a support option, which means you as a retailer can also use Uber's customer support. We're working hard to build it, but it's very different doing support for a whole assortment of different products, where we don't actually always know who the customer is. All we know about the customer is kind of where they're located effectively, what you're telling us as a retailer, where to drop the product. And that just means we have kind of less data to serve the customer in the right way. That's the piece that I'm looking at as kind of a customer experience that's not yet good enough that we're working hard to improve.
Okay, thank you. I have a last question then. It's how is your charging model? So meaning how much you charge to the retailer you are using your service? What are the criteria you take into consideration?
So we, the way we tend to do it is, a fixed fee followed by a per mile or half mile fee, depending on the product. But, it's something that we're always looking at. The one thing we're hearing from retailers pretty consistently is wow, you can do it that cheaply. And I think it's just the density, that, if you think about like what drives cost of delivery, courier tends to be closer to the pickup location to begin with. We're very efficient at dispatching couriers to the right places, giving them the right information to get to where they need to go. You think about the Uber Eats experience where you have a leave at door or meet at door option to kind of make the handoff as seamless as possible. There's lots of things there that allow us to run a very efficient marketplace, which kind of brings the cost down. But I think that's the direct answer to your question, is a fixed upfront fee and then a per mile or half mile fee.
We've got 2 more questions before we let you go. The lady in the jacket.
I was worried no one was going to have any questions. I was going to be heading out of here early.
I also have a question about the pricing actually, but that's more in general. So our customers request same day delivery, but we also see that they actually don't want to pay for it. So how do you see that in general?
I mean, I see it as the role of a business like Uber Direct is to be as efficient as possible, and as customized as possible. So we bring the cost down to you and you bring down the cost to your end consumer. And again, what I'm consistently hearing when, we get into the conversation and this gets compared against other same day or last mile delivery options is, wow, that's a lot cheaper than what others can do. And you have a lot better coverage than what others have. But look, especially in a cost of living crisis, no doubt one of the challenges to scale same day delivery is how do we make the economics work together? I guess my commitment is our pricing will be competitive, but depending on kind of, who your customer base is and how important this is to this and how you market this to them, you may also need to kind of charge them a premium.
And just one more.
Can you hear me? Yes. Within the retail sector, obviously we're moving away a lot more from physical stores and going online. Do you foresee there being an issue in that people will only have sort of a couple of distribution centers within their country and therefore the localized delivery may not work if they haven't got all the stores? Does that make sense?
I mean, definitely, to the point that Tony made in terms of reverse logistics, that's definitely another thing that we're consistently hearing is a challenge, which is I like this. My customers would love this, but all of my inventory is housed in these 2 or 3 kind of warehouses and you can't send a courier out 10 miles to pick it up. And I think similar answer to Tony in terms of, we're talking to various micro warehousing players where they might be able to do the mid-mile and we'll do the last mile and we'll together kind of get it to be as efficient, as cheap as possible. But, I think that together with kind of how robust the inventory management systems are of retailers, together with the need for returns, are kind of 3 of the things that we're seeing are particularly complicated. But part of the reason we're at an event like this is, if we partner across the ecosystem, I'm confident we can solve this for consumers.
Thank you so much for all your questions. If you do have any more, you don't have far to go. Uber are right behind you. A massive thank you to you, but please a round of applause for Matthew.
Definitely. Let's chat more. I'll be back at this Uber Direct booth, as will the team.